Welcome back to Landscapes of Consciousness, where we're on our continuing quest for truth, justice, and the consciousness way. Welcome back, Harry.
Nice to be here again.
You know that line is originally from Superman, which is an interesting metaphor because there was a book that came out. It was a bestseller, I think, last year called The Rise of Superman, which documented this whole amazing rise of a new breed of human being who, on the basis of being in the zone, their peak experiences, are manifesting extraordinary performances in athletics, primarily the extreme sports like freestyle skiing and surfing. And it's interesting, there's also a new breed of human being right now who, on the basis of their inner experience, is also manifesting extraordinary performance on an inner level. So I think that's a great segue into what you're doing. You've been exploring this whole domain of consciousness. How does that connect?
Well, the great thing about consciousness is that everybody has it already. You don't have to develop it. It can be developed, but you're already starting from the ground state of human consciousness. So an extreme sports fellow has to exercise and do all kinds of development to get to the point where an extreme sport makes sense. With consciousness, you can, because it's the basic value of human consciousness itself, there are procedures and techniques that will develop it naturally.
So what you're saying is consciousness is so intrinsic to our experience. That's really what you're saying. And now there's an interesting thing, though. I want to just interject here. Is in extreme sports, there's an immediate benefit. The
Yes.
performance isn't a benefit. You do
Yes.
this great world-breaking record thing, of jumping over 20 school buses or whatever they do with, it's crazy. But there's an intrinsic benefit to having these experiences. That's what you were just describing in our
Yes.
last episode.
So if somebody jumps over, 30 buses, that's one experience, and it starts and it's over in 10 seconds. With consciousness, it doesn't ever have to be over. The benefits of developing consciousness are permanent, 24 hours a day. So everything that we do, every experience we had, we do it for even our visual sight. There's information coming back. There's always something happening to every experience we have. With most experiences, it's a momentary. With vision, you see something, and then you look over there, you see something else, you hear something. It's a very natural process. Consciousness itself, pure consciousness itself, is just as natural as any experience.
Define pure consciousness again. We've done it before, but I want to just nail it right here again.
Every human being, whether they're aware of it or not, has a field, has an unbounded consciousness that's at the basis of every thought, every impulse, every movement. It's there, it's always there. We could call it universal consciousness, we could call it enlightened consciousness, we could call it self-awareness. It's an expanded field of infinite, you could call it infinite potential if you want. And everybody has it. Most people aren't aware of it.
Right. And now this is something I also want to segue back to something we said in one of our previous episodes, because I really want to go into these benefits. In all of our lunches we've had over the years, I'm always talking about what the benefits are. And, you've talked about this, how it applies, having this experience of consciousness, how it applies to your personal life, how it applies to your family life, your business. You run a large business. And how is it that this intrinsic experience of consciousness, how does it trickle in and seep into your life and expand it in a field of benefits or richness or fullness in some way?
Because pure consciousness is already self-existent and eternal, we needed to have a way to contact it. And contact it, we have to have a way to stay in the experience, have it not fade. And why would we want to do that? And the reason we'd want to do that is because the experience of self-awareness is, within itself, is satisfying and beneficial. You can feel it, you can see it, you can taste it eventually. And it has a quality that makes you want to experience it and have the experience more and more. The question is, why doesn't everybody have it if it's so natural?
Right, that's a very good question. I mean, I think we've touched on that a little bit before. We gave the analogy of like we're fish swimming in the water. The fish doesn't realize that the water is there because it's just in it. But there's something a little bit more. I mean, what I really want to hone in on this whole field of the intrinsic benefit of experience. What that means, what that feels like, what it looks like. I guess that's the gist of our talk today. And why is it that just having the experience itself is its own benefit? That's something you've told me many times. Maybe you can elaborate on that a little bit.
You know, when you talk about subtle states of consciousness, it's sometimes hard to find words to, describe the experience even. But the experience of pure consciousness is satisfying. It's quiet. It's permanent. It's there 24 hours a day. You like it, so you want it. Now, any experience that we have, the reason we go for an experience is because we want something out of it. We want something good out of it. We want something permanent. We want some happiness out of it or some joy out of it. We're not looking for experiences that aren't satisfying. Nobody is. Mm-hmm. Those things just happen. So the one experience that can be completely satisfying and permanent is the state of pure consciousness. My experience has been that even though, business life and family life, and there can be lots of ups and downs, what really attracted me to pure consciousness, or the pursuit of pure consciousness, is that it has a permanence, it has a stability, it has something that cannot be upset. And there's a quality to pure consciousness that is infinitely satisfying. It's very quiet. It doesn't kind of, as if take over your life and obliterate everything else. What it does is enhances all other experiences. It's kind of like a light that suddenly gets turned on. It's kind of not that great an analogy, but think of it as a light that gets turned on. There was darkness, suddenly there's this light. Now, this light doesn't obscure the senses or experience or anything else. It enhances it, gives clearer sight, further vision, deeper experience. So the inner kind of has an opportunity to, as if, move to the outside. So more and more, not less and less.